little bit. Go ahead, Marcia.
You see?
That's so weird.
Turn the box underneath.
It's strange, you guys. What's up, everybody?
No one's in yet. Looks like we have one person in.
Come join us. We
you.
plead you.
What?
Alright, go ahead. You want to log in?
Oh,
Alright, everyone, go ahead and let me turn this mic down so I can make sure I'm hearing everyone correctly.
You're seeing the inner workings, my friends.
Yep. We are gearing up to start our podcast here.
Watch your scooch.
Well,
Gosh,
I'm
oh
sorry.
man,
I'm
it's so
trying
bright.
to.
Alright, I'm going to turn off the light real quick. You guys tell me if it's better. But here,
guys too.
okay. Mic check 1 2 2 2 check. Okay, we're good over here.
Check.
Dirt.
Check.
Let's move it closer.
1 2 check.
Okay. Fuego.
Microphone checker on 2 on 2.
Keep going.
Microphone checker, Mr. Jaime and Fuego.
Okay, and Marcia.
Check.
Okay. Good.
Check your
You sound
microphone.
good. Let me just hit this light off and see if everyone's not blazed with the sun anymore. Oh, that's much better.
Oh,
Alright.
No, it's like
Wait,
when you
hold
call
on.
into a radio station.
Hold
You
on.
can't do it.
there we go.
Alright, so here we go, guys.
Marcia's back out of frame, damn it.
No, it's okay, you're good. Alright, can you log in, Marcia? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm live, but everything looks black.
Okay, see, that's not good. That's why we might need someone manning over there with the comments.
Oh, I see.
Alright.
Yeah, can you try and log in, Dirk?
Yeah.
It's normally somebody.
It just told me that we went live.
Yeah, well,
We're
that's-
live.
technically.
It's playing
buzzing
it,
too,
but
guys.
I'm playing
I'm
it, but
buzzing, buddy.
you keep talking over me. Yeah, I'm playing it, but it just looks black.
That's weird.
Black is
Let's
still
see what
black.
Dirk's... No, Dirk's
No.
showing it okay.
Yeah, I'm playing it, but it just looks black.
What's wrong with your phone, Marcia?
Alright, well, go ahead and... Oh, yeah, Marcia, why don't you... Can she use your...
Yeah, sure.
Please don't leave,
Just
guys.
turn your
We're just
volume down.
figuring out
and
some technical
We'll do
difficulties.
the... We'll
There you
look
go.
at the comments. So, basically what we're going to do here, you guys... Okay, let me start this. You ready?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to start the actual podcast now. Alright. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Show Podcast. I'm Cecil Laird.
Dirk Heron.
I mean, Fuego here.
Marcia Parker.
And we are doing this podcast two different ways. So if you're listening to it, then we have already done this live for the first time. If you're watching it, we are also recording it for our podcast to be released on iTunes later tonight. But what we are doing tonight is a full-on memorial discussion all about, we thought it was almost imperative. I mean, Dirk basically reached out to me once we saw the news this morning that the artist Bernie Wrightson passed away. That this would be a perfect, way to eulogize him, discuss his work, and also give you guys a chance and a voice to talk about what you like about him, ask us any questions. Dirk did a lot of research today, so it's going to be a whole podcast all about Bernie Wrightson. Now, can everyone hear us okay?
Let us know, please.
Yeah,
We need to know.
Marcia, do you know how to look at the comments?
Mm-hmm.
We
Okay.
need to know.
Yeah, everybody that has said hi.
Yo,
Go ahead and call someone by name, yeah.
And they're saying they can see us. All right.
Can they hear us okay too? All right,
So
so
what's the volume? That's what I'm curious about.
Yes, and yes. Thank you, Ray. And
perfect.
Yes and yes.
Excellent. Okay, so so basically, I think let's. I'm gonna at this point turn it over and let Dirk handle the podcast from here on out. Look at this. He prepared printouts for everyone.
oh,
I know
Dirk
this
is
stuff
so
already.
He's the
professional.
man. Wow. All right. So here we go. Dirk, where should we start? What do you think we should do in talking about this man who, honestly, you mentioned a couple things that he did that I had no idea about.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you hold our hands through this odyssey of Mr. Wrightson's talents?
He was a fresh name for me, but yeah.
Well, the thing that a lot of people know him for is his comic book art. He was the co-creator of Swamp Thing. He drew the first couple. It was the first 10 Swamp Thing.
And this is long before Alan
Comic
Moore,
books.
obviously.
Yes. It was Lynn Wein who.
Len Wein, yeah.
Lynn Wein
Mhm,
that wrote Swamp Thing, and it started off as just like this, like 8-page short story
Mhm.
that was published in one of the horror DC comics, and then they wanted him to keep doing it, and they actually took a long break to like realize the character.
Okay.
I know there was a lot of controversy about that. The origin of Swamp Thing was so much like Man Thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that he came after Man Thing.
Yes.
I don't even know what Man Thing is.
Man Thing
It was
is
a
sort of the
Marvel-
Marvel muck
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah. Swamp monster.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A swamp
So, and I've done my research, and I would say that I think that Lin Wen kind of ripped off the origin story of Man Thing, but
Mhm.
Swamp Thing became more popular.
Mhm.
Yeah, and honestly, maybe that's why Alan Moore changed the origin, right? You know, didn't he change at least the nature of the character?
Yes,
So,
definitely.
like, drastically, you know?
Right. That.
Did Moore bring in the Alec Holland stuff, or was that always?
Yeah, well, Alec Holland was
always the Swamp Thing? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. But I think it was Alan Moore that said that Alec Holland died,
Mhm.
and it was really
It was
the
just a
swamp.
plant. It was really a plant, a mutated
Right.
plant kind of thing,
That-
of sorts.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually Holland transformed
At least
into
not
something else. It
anymore.
was just
Mhm.
a plant that thought of itself as
Almost
Alec
took on
Holland.
the consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't until Alan Moore changed the origin a little
Mhm.
bit that made it more interesting as well.
This just in.
Yes. Let us know.
Jason K says, I heard the creators of Swamp Thing and Man Thing were college roommates, so not surprised both of them are similar.
What?
That's outstanding. Who
That's
said
some-
that? Call
dude,
him out
that is
because
some
that's
Bill Gates
Oh.
slash.
Well, yeah, that was
Jason,
definitely.
Jason Case.
Jason Case.
Ah.
Good knowledge drop there, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you very
Big
much.
time, yo! You are
Well-
educating us. We appreciate it.
It was actually Stan Lee that created Man Thing. He had written out a couple lines of like that he was like, I'm thinking of like this swamp creature,
Excelsior.
you know,
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Didn't
And,
Stan Lee-
Excelsior.
you know,
I'm just
because-
assuming he said Excelsior
Stuff, though.
every 2 sentences.
even though Stan Lee didn't write a lot of those comics, you know, he came up with the ideas. He was an idea guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he
And
took a
so-
lot of credit for other people's work.
Well, but he
I'm
did
just
come
kidding.
up with those ideas.
I
you
know, I know.
Even though I think that it had a lot to do with the artists and the writers to like really form those characters.
Yeah, it's
It-
like the idea and then the manifestation. And
Yeah, but you know, he was like in charge. He was the editor of Marvel at that time, and so I don't know. You still got to give it to Stan Lee because
Right.
Yeah, we all do.
Well, let's keep it focused though. Let's refocus back to Mr. Wrightson. So
well, he also co-created another character, Destiny,
with Marv Wolfman, I see.
Yeah, and you know that character wasn't that popular, but it became popular in Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
Wait, so Destiny existed before
Yes.
Sandman made him part of the Pantheon?
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting as hell. And you're kidding me. Okay, so wait. Okay, now this is huge for true comic nerds. Now, if you guys know Sandman, Neil Gaiman's opus that won a Pulitzer or
Eisner
Nobel?
Award?
Eisner? No, I know it won something huge. Like it was crazy. No, maybe not the Pulitzer, obviously, but it won some crazy. Yeah, obviously it did the Eisner, but it's an incredible opus, and to know that he actually used a. So does that mean that Neil Gaiman then didn't have the idea for all the D-named Pantheon until after this?
Well, he came up with quite a bit of the characters, but there was already characters that were already in the DC universe.
Right.
Which was kind of becoming the Vertigo universe eventually at that
Yeah.
point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but what I'm saying though is if Bernie Wrightson and Marv Wolfman created Destiny that Neil Gaiman used in Sandman,
Yeah.
Destiny is one of like the big seven, like one of the, like I said, the pantheon of people of entities that represent different aspects of humanity. And that's just interesting because what blows my mind about that is that does that mean that Neil Gaiman didn't have the idea for the Pantheon until he saw Destiny, or did he have the
That's
idea and he was
interesting.
like, you know what, Destiny would actually work as one of my, because you know, Sandman is Dream, and then we have Destiny, we have Delirium, Despair, Death, and, you know, like there's so. I'm just curious of the sequence of events, how that actually played out. So it just
That's a good
it
question.
makes the mind turn.
It
Yeah.
does, yeah. Intriguing creative process.
Another character that he actually created himself was Captain Stern, who was a heavy metal character in the
Oh,
heavy
okay.
metal
Oh, because
magazine.
dude,
Heavy
he
Metal
did so
magazine?
much
Okay.
work with those guys. Yeah.
And then that character actually appeared in the heavy metal movie.
Oh, really?
So-
Okay.
So
Cool. All right.
Great soundtrack on that movie, by the way.
But he also went on to do like a lot of Batman stuff. You
Yes.
know, whether it was covers or
That was my first exposure to him.
As was mine. Can I chime in with
Yeah.
saying that my first time I ever saw anything Bernie Wrightson, and this was long before the Stephen King stuff, which just captivated me immensely. It was a cover. I was telling Dirk this before we started filming, and it was the cover of my favorite superhero and my favorite creature fighting each other. So it was Batman, Aliens, issue 1, and it was basically just like a half-face type thing. So on one side you had the Xenomorph, and then on the other side you had Batman. And maybe the story wasn't too incredibly awesome. There's better Batman and Alien stuff separately, but it was still cool. And seeing that iconic image, it just. I mean, there was Batman Predator at the time, which was so good too, and so it just showed me that universes could intermingle and how cool it could be, and damn did he do a fine job on that, and it still sticks out in my head. That's why it was the first thing I thought of when I saw of his passing today.
Well, and I'll just jump to my Wrightson Batman exposure, which
I
was
know what it is.
it's one of the I did some Batman exploring. My first exposure to Batman was when he got his back broken. Like, I was one of
the
those
Nightfall
guys.
series.
Yep.
Yeah, I was one of those guys that was brought into Batman in this, or brought into a bunch of characters by all of their gimmicky happenings. So Superman when he died, Batman when his back was broken, Green Lantern when he went crazy, the X-Men during Age of Apocalypse,
Which
and the
was all a
Spider-Man Clone
response
Saga.
to the popularity of the Image, as I'm sure some of you know.
It was, but nonetheless, one of the things when I got into Batman via Nightfall, but I decided, this guy's obviously worth reading some backstory, so I read Dark Knight Returns. I read Year One, obviously both Frank Miller books.
Yep.
But I also came across a trade paperback that was a 4-issue that was Batman the Cult.
It was in Elseworlds, right?
No,
Really?
it was
No,
not
it was
Elseworld.
not.
It was
Oh,
true
okay. It was
continuity.
actual
It was
continuity,
the most effed up experience I've ever seen Batman and Robin go through, because it was
Which Robin
post.
was it?
Was it
Tim Drake?
Was it? No. It
Because it
was
was
either.
after
It
Death of
might
the
have
Family,
actually
right?
been Jason.
No kidding?
Because it might have happened during that, but either that it was Dick. It wasn't Tim.
Okay.
Anyway, nonetheless,
Yeah,
no, it might have been Dick, because that's the thing. It was the loss of innocence of Robin, because at one point he wakes up in a sea of bodies, if I'm not mistaken. At one point, there was some crazy stuff, and the imagery that was portrayed was all Bernie Wrightson. The whole arc was done by Bernie Wrightson, and
It was a 4-issue limited, if I remember.
yeah, it scared me.
Yeah, Jim Starlin wrote it.
Right, but Wrightson did the artwork,
Right.
So, and that's what scared me about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the writing too, but it was the skulls and just the darkness and the
He was notorious for illustrating.
and
Yeah.
and grittiness, and again, I think I mentioned to Dirk earlier that Wrightson always, to me, I think of him and Kelly Jones with very similar styles, but I think Kelly Jones must have come after Wrightson, right?
Yes.
Yeah, by a long shot. So clearly Wrightson was an influence
Big
on
time.
Kelly Jones.
Well, another thing about Wrightson was that he did a lot of horror comics at the beginning of his career. So he was developing this eerie style, and so I think that when you see a Wrightson piece, you can tell that it's him, just because of his style, his cross hatching, he knows how to create monsters. He creates these grotesque characters
Immediately and distinctively, and that's why Stephen King loved him so much. That's why he was brought on to do so much of his work. I know we'll get to at some point, but I mean, damn, very distinctive.
And you know, since we've been talking about a lot of stuff that is DC, he also did a couple runs of Punisher as well.
One of which I have, the Purgatory one, if I'm not mistaken, that was part of the Marvel Knights series. And that was the controversial one.
Nasty.
The controversial one where he was the avenging angel, right? Isn't that the one where he had the thing on his head?
I haven't read that one, but
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna double check right now.
Marcia, while you double check, Marcia has.
Please, Marcia, chime in.
Jason Case says the dumbest thing about making Hal Jordan a supervillain is done out of desperation because likely writers didn't know to continue to make him great, appealing. Or no, to continue to make him appealing and great. Lucky Jeff Johns removed that problem with Green Lantern.
Yes, exactly. That's all I was going to say about that.
Jeff Johns is taking a stranglehold over the DC universe at this point.
What was I looking up again?
In the filming.
Purgatory.
So.
Purgatory. Okay.
But
continue, please.
But
thank you, Jason.
I would love to take it away for the next.
Sure.
For the next.
Yeah,
guy.
that pretty much kind of covers the comic book stuff. Other than once we get into Stephen King.
No, which is what I wanted to talk about. If we're are we to that segue?
No, we can get there.
You can jump around.
Yeah, we can
jump
around.
jump around.
Jump around, jump and get down. So I was immediately taken aback today when I read that Bernie Wrightson was lost yesterday.
Yeah, that was right.
Technically,
this is when he's like an avenging angel, and he's got this sigil on his forehead. It's okay. The plot of this is after Frank Castle's suicide. Mm-hmm. The alley where he shot himself became a shrine for all the downtrodden victims of crime. However, a figure with glowing eyes and an arcane sigil on his forehead has been carrying out similar deeds as the Punisher once did. This phantom slowly begins to remember who he is, eventually discovering not only the possession that drives him, but the guardian angel that failed to save his family. So it was actually really interesting, and it was part of the early Marvel Knights stuff, and Marvel Knights was massive because that was...
It was even before the Max, right?
It was post-Marvel bankruptcy filing. It was one of the gimmicks that they tried to do to bring everyone back. It was bring things dark. That's where they brought back Daredevil in Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith wrote Daredevil under the Marvel Knights banner. And then, we had other things come back under Marvel Knights, and Punisher was one of the ones they brought back, and one of the ways they did it was via this angelic series. So it was an underwhelmingly written series, but Bernie knocked it out of the park art-wise. Wrightson is so good behind the pencil. It's amazing. That's why I own that book. It's not because of the story, it's because of the artwork. Anyway,
Amen.
Continue, please. I'm eulogizing him by saying how much I really liked what he did. I mean, he's amazing.
So that was Wayne's Stairway denied just now, but I'm going to jump back into it, guys.
I was still finishing what I was saying.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. So, man, the Stephen King stuff was what I immediately thought of when I saw that Bernie had passed on, because not only did he do the 1990 uncut version of The Stand, where they added some illustrations, including an epilogue, which was not in the original book, which has a picture, spoilers, of Flag having cycled back, and he's alive in some new spot, and there's Aborigines people who are coming and starting to worship him. So amazingly done. He also did Cycle of the Werewolf, which was a very cool Stephen King, almost like a short story novella, where it was done month by month by month. So January, February, March, April, and there was a different full-color painted illustration that Wrightson did for each of those. I have the original first print of it. It is one of my most prized King possessions. It was adapted into the Silver Bullet movie, which wasn't that bad. Some people hate on it because it was 80s as hell, but the source material, incredible, and then who can say the Fifth Dark Tower book wasn't that much better because of the fact that, it was illustrated by King's good buddy Wrightson. You were telling me the fact that he was let on the set for stuff that King and Romero did?
Yeah, well, with the Creep Show.
Mm-hmm.
He got
which I forgot about.
Because they had asked him that they wanted to do a graphic novel adaptation of the movie, and they knew that it was going to take a while, especially since Wrightson, works kind of slow. His artwork is just so detailed.
But you have to work slow with how beautiful that painted stuff
and
was.
so he got to go on set, see the characters, get an idea for them so that he could get back and start working on it as soon as possible. he was good friends with Stephen King and George Romero. He ended up doing some other work for George later on, and we'll talk about that as well. But
let's check in with Marcia real quick. Marcia, let's catch up. Actually, I'm sure we've gotten a number of comments and stuff.
Okay, so we got another comment from Jason Case. Vigilante is the main answer to Punisher by DC Comics. Plus, Deathstroke is pretty close when he is anti-hero, and maybe Mad Dog. Christy Jones says, not so much a superhero comic fan, but love Bernie Wright's I don't know. I don't think Ons was supposed to be part of it because she said she has a
I'm sure she
cat.
said Bernie Wright's son. So
Yeah.
Here, can I take a
Damn
look?
autocorrect.
For what?
I'm sure we're missing a bunch of stuff.
No, we're not.
No? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I like it. Then please continue, Dirk.
well, I think we kind of covered the Stephen King stuff mostly, but one thing that I loved about some of the things that Wrightson did was that he did a lot of covers for comic books, but like his illustrations for The Stand, for Cycle of the Werewolf, were just they were paintings. And
Stand was black and white, but Cycle of the Werewolf was definitely amazingly painted, as was Dark Tower 5.
But when he did 50 illustrations for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which was published by Marvel, republished.
Yeah.
I don't know. He took it to a whole nother level.
Right.
Like I think that his inking style was it almost had kind of a medieval look to it. It almost had a feel of like just like wood etchings, and I don't know, that work is like the pivotal moment in his career. I feel like
Period specific, but timeless, man.
yes,
Right?
yeah, no, and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is kind of a tough read. You got to remember that book was written over 200 years ago.
Oh, dude, Stoker's is too. Stoker's is basically letters and journals and stuff like that, which King actually amusingly adapted for Carrie, where there's no direct narrative. It's all, just
I didn't know this was the
retelling.
King podcast.
I'm trying to make it. I always try to make it about Stephen King.
It's not about Stephen King, okay? A man died.
Bernie
Kind of is, but
like, come on.
No, it's
one of King's best.
It's all about Mr. Wrightson.
It's all about Wrightson. You guys know this.
Just to tune in, Christy Jones says that she loves Bernie Wrightson's art. The first time she's seen his work was Cycle of Werewolf, the graphic novel.
You just missed us talking that.
The graphic novel or the novel with
the
chapter heading?
She says
it's
the
same
graphic
thing.
novel.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
And then Jason K says, I hope the upcoming Dark Tower big screen movie is very faithful, utterly moronic, and inexcusable
We're
to
gonna
change
segue.
things
You know what? We
for
might
no valid reason.
might have to segue this into a Stephen King episode for Fuego.
No. We don't need to do that because Bernie is much more important.
No, I agree.
He did Conan, Swamp Thing, all this stuff, but yeah.
Well, that ties in, like if they stay faithful to the imagery.
True.
But Bernie didn't do stuff until The Wolves of the Kala, which is the 5th book. I loved it that much because of the fact that he painted a character which showed up in Salem's Lot by the name of Father Callahan, who everybody thought was dead, but you weren't quite sure. And so he pops back up, and Bernie did some very beautiful, like full-color painted illustrations of Father Callahan from Salem's Lot in Wolves of the Kala. So
nice.
Yeah,
cool.
Very good book. Last good Dark Tower book. Sorry, guys.
Well, the one thing that I think not too many people know about that Bernie Wrightson did was his art designs for movies, his character designs. For instance, I didn't know this till like today when I was researching, was that he did like a lot of the artwork, character designs for Ghostbusters.
No shizzle.
So
I'm really excited about that.
yeah, he designed like the librarian ghost.
That was the best ghost.
Did he do it for the Girl Busters that Marcia liked so much?
I had to say it.
You know,
I like that movie too.
But yeah, he designed a lot of the really creepy ghosts that were in Ghostbusters, like the cab driver and like that giant monster that like appears at one point,
and the blowjob ghost.
I'm sure he had something to do with that. but once
Did he do
again,
the dogs, I wonder? The crazy hellhound kind of looking thing?
I think that was 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
I don't think he had
the
any.
first one. That was
No,
Zool
you're
and-
talking about the
yeah,
Zool dogs.
Yeah, the dogs.
Oh,
Yeah.
he did design the dogs.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
pretty sure that he had something
awesome.
to do with that
That's
as well.
awesome.
Yeah.
But there's other like horror movies that he did character
Please,
designs for,
pray tell.
like 13 Ghosts. Which
Love 13 Ghosts.
Underrated,
13
man.
Ghosts is
So much
the
better than Ghost
best.
Ship.
yeah, so he
Ghost
you
Ship
know,
had a better intro
The
than every
introductory-
90s movie ever, but
Maybe it's one
it
of the
was
best.
not the best movie.
It's like up there with the second Final Destination for a group kill.
Wait, are you
It is
talking about
insane.
Ghost Ship now?
Yeah, well, briefly.
we're jumping all over.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a podcast, guys.
I love the Ghost Ship.
another.
Well, do you know what designs in 13 Ghosts he did?
I'm not sure. I didn't get to see the sketches or anything, but I know that he did character designs.
That's good.
for
There was a
it.
lot
Yeah,
of
the hand
there was
too.
a lot of good imagery in that movie. I thought.
Yeah.
Shannon Elizabeth, right? That was the good imagery.
This is a direct question for Cecil.
Okay.
Whoa.
It's a side question. Even though this isn't about what y'all talking about, are you excited for the new Halloween movie?
Well, of course.
Well, we can all discuss that. I
That's
mean,
for a different time and place.
That's
no, it's
from,
okay. I'll
Brandon
answer it real
Moss.
quick because we like to interact with our
Yeah.
fans here.
Yeah.
We're doing a live thing. Am I excited for the new Halloween thing? I think if John Carpenter maintains his involvement, I would be more excited about it. If he steps away, I would be more leery of it. I don't like the fact that he sounded off against Rob Zombie recently because they clearly had an interaction that they both saw a different way and they both got butthurt about it. But the fact that we're getting more Michael Myers is exciting for me no matter what.
Yes.
Because, again, I'm the guy that doesn't mind remakes. I love sequels because, to me, every time we have a chance at a good Halloween movie or a good Freddy or a good Jason, any chance we get those opportunities, let's take it.
Yeah.
Let's not shelve it just because there were really good movies in the 80s and 90s. No, let's try
Friday
to
the
make
13th
more
remake.
good versions, and if they're bad, we'll ignore it. If they're great, fucking awesome. Then we all get new Michael Myers to
Yeah.
go to. So that's my opinion.
I even like the bad one, so I
do
love
too.
I love
So,
all Halloween.
I mean, what can I say? I'm into it. So
I'm just glad they're not being timid
I like Mike.
the Friday the 13th people recently canceling their movie, damn it.
Yeah.
We were very upset about that.
Dirk, what's
so.
your opinion on that Halloween?
I think that it's interesting. I know that they pitched it to John Carpenter. He gave it the okay. He likes where they're going with it. I know that it isn't it like more of like a sequel. It's not a
They're
It's
saying
a
it's more of a
sequel
sequel
to the first
to the first
two
two,
films.
right? Exactly.
Okay.
So we're ignoring the Danielle Harris appearances, which stinks because Danielle.
Well, and we're ignoring H2O, which I actually liked, although Resurrection was dog shit, but, nonetheless.
Marcia loves H2O.
I love H2O.
No, I said I like H2O, but Resurrection.
No, Marcia loves
love-
H2O, not you. If Marcia loves it, you can't
Yeah,
love it.
you can't. All the lovely ladies love
H2O!
All the lovely ladies,
Water
all the
sucks.
lovely
It
ladies.
really, H2O!
Okay, let's refocus.
Gatorade.
Dirk, please bring us back to Mr.
Sorry.
Wrightson. All right.
Okay, all right. Some other creatures that he created was the giant monster at the end of Faculty.
Fucking
Yes.
I love Robert
Fucking
Rodriguez,
awesome.
The Faculty.
That
Such
is so
an
good.
underrated movie.
The Faculty is
Underrated.
amazing,
I love The
first of all.
Faculty. And the
Underrated.
soundtrack is so good. It is so underrated.
Well, I don't know if it's
Underrated?
underrated.
Who
I just don't know that it
I
got
think it got
the...
lost in the shuffle of
Yeah.
late 90s
No.
teen to yes,
No
it,
way.
dude, it totally
No, it
did.
stuck.
Yeah,
It stuck out amongst your disturbing behaviors and your
Yes,
things like
which
that.
I would
But-
imagine Disturbed Behavior
But
was
it
lost in the
still
shuffle, too.
was chained to
Disturbing Behavior is crap.
the idea
Oh, you're
of
so
being a
wrong.
horror
That's a
movie.
great movie.
Not enough people saw it because it was known as a horror movie.
And
Although it
was
did
more of a
have
sci-fi movie.
fucking Elijah
Sci-fi
Wood,
movie.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
when he was again. This was
It was a pre-Frodo.
This was a pre-Frodo Elijah Wood, but post-Radio Flyer.
Yeah.
Like, I mark Elijah Wood's career in very specific things. Like,
Was Josh Hartnett in
there's
that? I can't remember.
there's Radio Flyer Elijah
Yeah,
Wood,
yeah,
then
yeah.
there's North Elijah
Dude,
Wood.
and so is Salma Hayek, and so is the T-1000 Robert
Extremely
Patrick,
off
and
topic.
You've
I'm sorry.
got
I'm sorry.
Jon Stewart in
Well,
there
a
too.
good son.
Oh.
Elijah
A
Wood
Good
was
Son.
A
Yeah.
Good Son
Good
is
Son
one
was
of my
amazing.
after Radio
favorite.
Flyer, I think.
Wait, was he the brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the good
He was the one that was trying to point out that Macaulay
Culkin was a sick
fucking
little
crazy.
fucker. Yeah.
I don't
This
know
is
that I
that?
knew that.
You
No.
Once
know
again,
that?
this
I
is
always
the
remember.
Bernie
No, here's what I remember of the
Wrightson
Good Son
podcast.
is: if I let you go, do you think you could fly?
It's a great movie.
That's about all I remember.
Oh,
Okay,
I love
let's
that little
refocus,
bastard.
sir. Refocus,
All
refocus, refocus.
But
Focus.
he ended up, did you guys ever see Galaxy Quest?
I did.
Did you guys ever see Galaxy?
Well, not too many people did. 'Cause
What?
It didn't do very
No,
well
not too many people saw it in the theater.
in the theater.
but it is
became
a cult classic.
Just
Yeah.
FYI,
for sure.
being a journalistic guy, you know that they were trying to do a sequel series
Yeah.
for either Netflix or Hulu recently, and then was it Rickman that passed away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you know what, we're not even going to pursue it. And I
No.
think that was an admirable.
It wasn't
But you know what? I
opportunity, 'cause
guarantee
they were gonna
they'll
bring
throw
it
it
back
out
a
in
couple
comic
times.
form, though. They
Yeah.
definitely could at this point.
That seems to be the thing they're doing all the time, right? With
Uh,
Behind the
yeah.
Mask.
If they
and
can't
everything
get
else.
if they can't get a reboot together, throw it out in comic book form.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
But still have people funded for you.
It's really funny because I was actually listening. I can't remember which podcast I was listening to, but they were talking about Galaxy Quest and how they kept trying to get it going, but either Tim Allen wasn't in it, or Rick wasn't available, or something couldn't
Sigourney.
happen, and then they're like,
Yeah, Sigourney
"Shoot,
was
we
in it.
should have
What are
just
your
done
thoughts?
it."
We didn't actually
And it's
show
like-
it, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so just to go back
Segue.
real briefly, you guys, I'm gonna
Yeah.
show you I'm gonna look up some pages real quick. So continue on, but we forgot that Dirk actually had some pages we can show you here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look up some of the more disturbing pages of the cult.
While you guys are pulling that up, we got another comment from Jason
Woo!
Case. The faculty.
Jason Case, thanks for watching, yo.
The Faculty is a brilliant science fiction horror movie with disturbing theme as a pedophile principal.
Is that what that was? A pedophile principal?
I didn't even think about that. I thought he was an alien who just wanted to rape and kill and pillage and all that stuff and take over the world, like Body Snatcher style. But
I guess it could go either way.
Well, this
Salma Hayek was in it too, by the way, which Robert
All right,
Rodriguez.
I'm
good
gonna
source
hold
material, bro.
forward. I mentioned earlier the scene where Robin is surrounded by dead bodies. It's actually Robin and Batman. But this is Bernie Wrightson amazingness, so
This
you
is
guys
live
can see.
podcasting, YouTubing, guys.
Get up in there. There you go.
I'm gonna quote Sasha's party. Get up in the ball. I want to get up in the ball.
Those are all dead bodies surrounding Batman and Robin.
How well can you see it, guys? Tell us
That's
in the
Bernie
comments
Wrightson amazingness right there.
That's good.
Go ahead, continue, please.
I'm
The
like, I
joys
can
of
see
not post overline.
Well, if we're going to show some of his work, this was the first appearance of Swamp Thing. The graphic novel itself is the collection of like the first 10 issues of Swamp
God,
Thing.
he's so good.
It's
Yeah, he was incredible, man.
He's so good.
It also has the 8-page short story that was actually the cover image of House of Secrets.
Okay,
So
Nice.
I'll go hold it up.
yeah, so that was.
I'll be the gopher.
Yeah. Get it.
This is Bernie Wrightson's House of Secrets cover.
Yep, take a gander, guys. On point, right?
I don't know if you guys are going to be getting a reversed image or not, but
It looks good.
this is did he do the art in the whole thing?
Yeah, the first 10 issues, but I think it goes all the way up to.
I'll make sure I'm only showing the
issue
first 10.
13.
I mean, look at this.
So then did he still do cover art after
He's
that?
a
No,
classic.
He was done.
He-
Classic
Yeah,
artist.
Yeah, he was done. I think.
So I'm
just
wondering,
amazing.
Was this like the inspiration for the Wes Craven Swamp Thing film that was made? Because I know Alan Moore came on long after they had made that first Craven film, right?
right. This is
Yeah.
this was the origins of.
So
of
did
that
Bernie
first
Wrightson? Okay, I'm gonna just say this: Bernie Wrightson must have done some of the covers for Nightfall, specifically the Amygdala covers.
Well, the thing
Or that's
funny.
Kelly Jones.
He did
I'm
a
telling
lot
you.
of
it's
Batman.
Kelly
He did a
Jones.
lot
God,
of Batman.
Kelly Jones must have modeled himself exactly like Bernie Wrightson. It's crazy.
Yeah, Kelly
heavily
Jones did
inspired.
a lot of the covers for the Nightfall series.
But he looks exactly like Bernie Wrightson. Like he must have been such a huge influence to that guy.
Adam Wells asks, he
Adam
did
Wells.
all that?
Yes, he did all that.
Oh, and dude, we haven't even scratched the entirety of the surface here. But he
You
still
want me to show these
did
Frankenstein
Conan
stuff? Okay.
Yeah,
stuff,
this
right?
is
Just
this
where you
is
have
the,
the marks?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the pivotal stuff of his career. I feel like.
Yeah, so you're about to see Frankenstein, but Dirk
Wow,
did he do some Conan
that's
stuff?
amazing.
Did he do lots of like dark fantasy stuff as well?
Yeah.
Nah.
Like I said, like at the beginning of his career, he did a lot of like short
Wow.
stories for horror anthology
Got
comics and stuff like that. That really he started getting his style down at the beginning of his career. But it wasn't until Swamp Thing that like he really like
Set his mark.
Look at
set his
this.
mark. Plus,
2 full-page spread.
yes,
2 characters only on one of the pages, but you can spend hours on this. Hours
yeah.
on this artwork and still pick up new awesome things.
Well, just the cover, like just that image. Like one thing that is amazing about the artwork in this book
I want to read this book.
I do too.
Is that
This looks
honestly,
amazing.
Yeah.
is that he
God, look at
really
that.
captures the
He captures
sorrow.
the emotion of Frankenstein.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that
Monster.
makes me want to urge everybody to read Revival because it's fantastic.
Isn't it Frankenstein's
by
monster?
Stephen King.
All right, so there you go. Please continue. I need to step away.
Before you do, one
the
last
tank.
thing from Jason Case. How the hell does no one suspect who Robin is if most persons know that Dick Grayson because he wears a domino mask? Not much concealment. Anyway.
That's more of a nerdtastic comment, and that's not a diss on Jace, yo. But yeah, that's one where my expertise does not lie, regrettably. I'm not sure, since I have not read the Cult in, not since I was a kid. I think 95, 96, and I was like in 6th grade. So I don't remember it very well. It's one of the few Batman graphic novel collections I don't own, and now I'm going to have to go seek it out because of the fact that it's Wrightson, and
Yeah, I read it a long time ago too. Even though I own it, like I feel like I need to go back and reread it. So,
Indeed.
but once again, let's go back to like his art designs for film, horror movies, to be specific.
Yeah.
He. We talked about how he was friends with George Romero and how he did a lot of artwork for Creep Show.
since I jumped the gun on so much other King stuff, this is what I'm excited to talk about.
Well, he ended up doing a lot of the character designs for Land of the Dead, which there was
George
some
Romero.
really interesting looking zombies in that movie.
There were,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, too bad it wasn't that great of a movie, but
You know what?
And I love George Romero, but it was maybe it was the last good of the Dead movie that he made, because Diary and what was the one after Diary of the Dead? I'm trying to remember. It was like Survival of the Dead, if I'm not mistaken. Help me out, viewers. Comment if you remember what were the George Romero films after
Terrible of the Dead.
Land of the Dead. There was Diary, and I want to say Survival of the Dead. Diary, I know, was the found footage
Garbage
one.
of the Dead.
But, Land of the Dead was the last one that I felt was high production value, really good. It was the first one after Day of the Dead, and he hadn't made a Dead movie in how freaking long, man?
Yeah.
Like 30
I
years,
actually
maybe,
did
at that
read,
point?
toe tags, though. I'll be over there in just a second. I have toe tags.
Okay.
But once again, like those were some really interesting zombies. But Fuego, I wanted to tell you that he designed a lot of the creatures for Stephen King's The Mist. So that was another thing that he did for Stephen
collaborating with Frank Darabont. God damn, and there is actually a Stephen King The Mist TV series that is coming out on Spike later this year, and they're saying that it's going to explore just other adventures besides the people who were stuck in that grocery store, which intrigues me immensely.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's going to be totally BA. Sadly, Bernie will not be there unless he gave some consulting work, beforehand, and who the hell knows? But that was King at his most Lovecraftian, where there was an interdimensional portal opened and the craziness of the creatures that come out.
Yeah.
So badass. And who better than Bernie to, help them design
it's insane.
stuff?
I was looking at some of the sketches that he did, like, that it's just...
and you're an artist yourself, which we have to let everybody know. You're going to have to give some plugs at the end, man.
Well, like some of those, just those bugs that were in it, if you look at the sketch and then you look at the computer animated bugs, it is like they literally brought those sketches to life. Like
made them totally three-dimensional.
They made them totally three-dimensional. They just took every little detail that he came up with and put it into these characters that were in that movie. So I really like The Mist. Even though
I love The Mist.
they
Even though
changed
they
the
changed the
ending,
ending, yes, we both know it.
but I still liked it.
Stephen King thinks the ending is better.
Yeah, well,
That's bold, as opposed to him, the kid, being at a Holiday Inn hanging out. They're like, "Yeah, we made it, guys."
If you knew what was going on, and then you see the ending, and you're just like, "Wow,
Spoilers.
I did not see that coming." So that's why I like the ending too. So.
No, good in that good poignant, just get you right in the gut effed up way.
Yeah.
So.
But this was some other work that he did that really surprised me, because this really hones in on the nostalgia of watching cartoons and playing video games. Was that did you ever watch Biker Mice from Mars?
Damn right I did, dude. It was like Street Sharks, one of those rip-offs of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Street Sharks. Oh my god, I haven't thought of that.
Well, it was almost like they kind of came up with those shows just to make action figures.
Yeah.
And
Of course they did.
And so
They were cool though, man. They
Yeah,
had a video game too for Biker Mice from Mars.
yeah, and the video game's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
But-
SNES, yeah, what?
But so he came up with the designs for the mice.
That's
cool. But this was something that blew me away, was that he came up with the the creature designs in Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil video game. He created the tyrant, created the hunters.
Well,
This actually ties in. Are you good over there?
Oh, this thing is scratching like a mother all of a sudden.
No.
Oh, hold on, guys.
We were experiencing technical
difficulties here, guys. Wow, okay, we made it through it. Wow, that was really weird.
All right.
Looks like we made it.
That's
But,
strange as hell.
I don't know where to go. Okay, so I'm gonna just squeeze
what she
this
said.
in here. Brandon Wells, I love you guys, your guys' channel. I watch you guys all the time. # horror show.
It's tough when it's constantly uploading to
It's not-
maintain
okay.
the comments.
#
We're still getting
the
used
horror
to
show
this.
is the best. Yay!
Thank
you,
you.
Brandon.
You know what Marsha wants to hear.
And then
I see someone over there.
Jason Case, hey George Romero, actually wrote a Resident Evil movie
I
script.
know, and it
but
never was
rejected.
filmed. I was just about to interject about that, Jason. I know. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
stop.
I just wanted to beat
I know
Jason
you
to it.
do, but you didn't.
It was in my EGM way back in the day.
So,
I love you.
okay, he wrote the evil script, but rejected because too similar to the video game. So how damn neurotic. Please, Hollywood, make faithful video game movies.
Amen.
Okay.
Sue K, my favorite people, what up?
What up,
And,
CK? She was on my
Wow.
last stream. What up, CK? Thanks for coming
Yeah,
back.
we love you, girl.
TJ Miller says, Full House, baby.
TJ Miller was in last time too. Thanks for coming back, you guys. We appreciate
Yeah.
you coming back to the live streams.
He was the funny guy in
Keep your
Deadpool,
comments
right?
coming. I'm
Wait,
paying
so
attention.
you're telling me that he came up with Tyrant?
The tyrant.
Yeah.
The
And-
The
Tyrant.
design.
Thank-
Wow.
That was
thank
the
you.
second
With the
Thank you,
eye,
Adam.
was with the eye in the shoulder, right?
No,
No, that was-
that was the
That was Nemesis.
That was the second.
No, that wasn't
Wasn't that
Nemesis.
Nemesis?
Nemesis was 3, but so,
No,
okay. So
this-
the one with the eye was in the second one. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. That was the G virus. And,
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's right, because there was the T
All right,
virus.
I'm
and
gonna
there
look
was
up the
G
Tyrant real
virus.
quick
and-
then. I want to make sure I know exactly
Yeah.
what.
No,
he
no,
came
no, no.
up
I
with
think
here.
the Tyrant was the final big bad at the end of the original Resident Evil.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
I remember correctly.
Yep.
Hence the name. Yeah. Come on, guys, make fun of us for not knowing this right off the right off the bat.
Thank you, Adam, for tweeting us, and TJ. I'm glad you were glad to be here, and thank you for loving this show. Sue K says, "Love you from California." Robert Lee says, "Just a question. In what's been And what's been of the year? What has been your favorite horror movie so far? Mine's Get Out.
Ooh, this is not Bernie Wrightson.
Well,
territory.
No.
We can take a break
That's
to
okay,
answer that.
that's
real
okay.
Yeah,
quick.
you know,
Okay, so
this
that's
is
the
fans
tyrant.
tuning in.
Okay.
We love you guys. Thanks for being here with us. Damn, Marcia.
I'm just gonna say.
Is it Belko Experiment that
we
we
just-
just did a review on?
Well, thanks, Jaime, for putting that out.
Jeez.
But yes, we just got done watching the Belko Experiment, and I have to say
I
I was
didn't
the
know.
most entertaining that I have so far this year. There's been so many good ones,
The
but I
last
think
one
this
we
one was
reviewed,
really
you
good.
said was your favorite.
I
so
know,
far.
they just keep getting better and better, which is great because the 2017 just started, and if it keeps going in this direction, I'm just going to be more and more happy.
I
So,
think that's it right there.
but anyway,
That's his sketch.
what about you,
That
Jaime?
one.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
Split was
I'm gonna go show
really
these
good. Get Out was really, really good. Damn, I'm kind of torn at this point. I can't give a definitive answer. It's so tough when you're only not even 3 months into the season.
Oh, that's not gonna work.
That's not gonna work at all.
No.
Look up Bernie Wrightson Tyrant from Resident Evil, and you'll be able to see these that I wanted to show you, but it's not going to work
Yeah.
on this.
Adam
Working
Wells
on-
says Conjuring 2 is his.
Well, that was
I think
last year.
that was last year. That was 2016. Yeah.
Dirk, do you have a favorite this year, man?
You know what? I'm gonna say Belko Experiment.
Yes!
Because I really enjoyed
Bam!
Get Out, but I think Belko was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So
I had a great time watching
Notice how we're not saying Resident Evil or Underworld.
Nothing from January, quite frankly.
No.
I don't remember what exactly came out. I'm trying to find the playlist so I can see what's come out
he's
so
actually
far.
consulting as opposed to thinking off the top of our
Because
heads.
listen, I run this channel
He's the
and I
workhorse, you
can't
know.
keep all of this in my head. It's just it's not possible.
It's tough.
So anyway, continue. Are we?
we're pretty much that's all the information that I really have, other than I don't know. He's always stayed to his horror roots. That's why I think that's why I brought it up. That I thought we should do this memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yet the cool thing about Bernie, dude, is that he grew up in that era of the original, like monsters and stuff, which is why that inspiration was probably initially sown. And then guys that came later, like King and Romero in the 60s and 70s, were like, okay, this guy is visualizing the monsters that I love and adore and find so captivating. So he was like an earlier generation that obviously inspired so many more and will continue to, for real.
And then also he inspired a lot of these the great writers and artists in comic books.
Yes.
Like with Neil Gaiman, with Frank Miller. I think Frank Miller was definitely inspired by some of his artwork.
Oh, totally.
I know that there's some other artists and writers that were in the 80s back.
I'd
in
say
the
probably
80s.
Clive Barker, man, inspired by that sort of stuff.
Yeah, he did. He did a Clive Barker comic too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like it, I think when it comes
I think
to
your
like
phone died.
horror comics,
Oh, yeah.
I always think of Bernie Wrightson.
Okay.
So
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, between him and his possibly unwitting protege, Kelly Jones, I always think of Bernie Wrightson too when it comes to the art. No, but in all seriousness, whenever I saw Wrightson's name on a comic book, I was always happy to pick it up. I really enjoyed everything that he put out. The Swamp Thing stuff was amazing. The cult stuff was amazing. Like he has done so much. Obviously the Frankenstein stuff is crazy too. Like he's so just talented and evocative of a darkness. Like you can't help but put yourself in like, oh my god, this is just a horrifying situation that whatever this thing is in. And it takes a lot for an artist to be able to pull that much off over such a singular career.
Right.
And he's, I love him because he's stuck to the darkness,
Yes.
for the most part.
Never let it go. It's what captivated him. And the thing that I have to just say about him is that I've always enjoyed the nice mid-range between a graphic novel and just a full-on, thick-ass book. When there is some sort of visual, just I guess, just pinpoint or some sort of, like leaping off spot. I love where you can visualize something, you know. I mean, graphic novels often sacrifice a lot of the good dialogue and text and stuff like that because they go for pure visuals. Lots of novels, there is no just visual, point of, jumping off of. And so that's why I loved what he did so much in The Dark Tower and in Cycle of the Werewolf and in Stephen King's The Stand, which is my favorite Stephen King book because of the fact that it gives you a point of emphasis and something that allows you to visualize a little bit better in your head, and yet it still has such a rich, narrative behind it. He paired with the best people because he was so fucking talented.
And I think that it also, when reading Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, it motivated me to keep going through his artwork.
When you see a cool image, you're like, oh, it may be slow, but there's going to be another cool image.
Right, because it's a slow book, but like
Wolves of Hell, oh my god.
It's
long but great.
But I love that book, and I'm happy that I read it and I took the time to read it.
Rewarding, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think Marcia, is there anything else we should bring up? I think if you just hold it down.
Okay.
No low power mode.
Okay, so we got another comment from Brandon Wells. Get Out was really good. Split wasn't.
Split. Yeah.
What he
Split.
thought
I
it
did
was
not like
going to
Split.
be.
Really? Okay.
I did not like it.
And then Brandon also says you guys should do a video podcast about Michael Myers. And TJ Miller wants to know about Raw. If Raw was any good. Jaime,
Well,
what do
since
you
we have
think?
both seen it, it is worth watching if you're intrigued by the subject matter. Watch our review. I know it's like 20-something minutes. You're probably wanting something more just synthesized and, shortened. Would you recommend it?
It's selective taste. I think it's
Very
worth
much so.
watching just to have the experience. Is it something I'm going to go home and buy? No.
No, I wouldn't buy it, but I'm glad that I saw it. It's that type of horror film that has an intriguing enough concept.
Yeah.
You feel just about as dirty afterwards as the people who are hazed at the
Yeah.
beginning of the film.
But the question is,
That
do you
tells
feel
you
like
everything.
I'm missing out on anything by not seeing it?
I don't
I
think
know
you
it's
would
not
watch
your
it.
taste,
I don't think
so,
you'd like it.
yeah, for
I
that
think you would
reason-
not waste your time.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
That makes it easy
I mean,
for me.
at this point, after working together for so long, I kind of know what's in Marcia's wheelhouse. I know what's in Cecil's, and they probably know what's in mine. It's all dumb stuff, But yeah, I mean, I kind of know what my friends like, and I know what I like, and it's not something I'd necessarily seek out, but thanks to the critic screening we got to go to, so
Yeah. And the last question I'm gonna put on the table is from Sue K, and she asks, "What's your favorite type of blood in a horror movie? Like the way it looks?"
Caro Sarah.
I like, I'm not a big fan of the pooling blood. I like the brain matter blood.
Splatter?
Yeah, the stuff that looks like there's more than just red paint hitting the wall.
Yeah, that's just easy,
I like the intestines coming out with everything. I like substance in my blood.
I like it when it's thick. Because it gives it.
That's what Dirk said.
That's what she said. Hey.
Well, no, because especially when it starts to cauterize and stuff like that, or not cauterize, but
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
Oh yeah.
Congeal, I think,
Congeal.
too.
Yeah. And I like that dark look of blood. Especially when it pools up. That can. I don't know. That gets to me, especially like when you like drag a body through it, or just stepping in it or something like that. Like it's like I don't know. I like pools of blood.
All right. We're gonna fight after this. But all right.
I like the kind that just drips down your whole. I mean, wait, what? What are we talking
As
about?
a guy who likes to cover himself in fake blood at conventions, I definitely like the more liquidy stuff because honestly, lots of the fake blood, that unless you mix it yourself, it's really, really sticky and does not wash off very well. Damn, these blood stains are not washing off the sheets in my bed.
Out damn spot.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Why is there
Nothing.
blood in your
Shut up.
bed?
Shut up. I'm actually quoting on My Chemical Romance record. Sorry.
Sure you are. Any other ones, Marcia, before we go?
Sure. We have from Adam Wells. He says, "What's your favorite haunting movie?"
Haunting movie. Oh,
Is it a
let's
haunted
see.
house?
You know what? You know what? We'll make this the last question because we need to keep this focused, and it'll turn into a Q&A session.
Totally will, which is why we need to do Q&A sessions in later days. This is our first Facebook Live, or not Facebook, what am I saying? F the face bizzle.
Second YouTube Live. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Yes. I wasn't here for the first one.
But yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it doesn't
I
count.
know. So
I don't know. Do you guys have an answer? I am struggling to think of.
I'm gonna say Paranormal Activities is probably
Those
one of
are
my
really
favorites. Hauntings, if you want to say recent, and overall, probably Amityville. Even
Okay.
though it's not really haunting per se, but it kind of is because it's a possession movie.
I would
and
go
house
with the
is haunted.
Conjuring movies or the Insidious movies,
Yeah.
probably.
I really enjoy the Conjuring.
Oh, Poltergeist! Oh, Poltergeist was really good too.
Yeah, that's
really
what I
good
was
too.
gonna
So it's
go
really
with,
hard. It's like one of
yeah.
my favorites, and I don't like to pick favorites.
And
That's
it's
my
not
favorite.
one of my favorite genres, but that's, anything Poltergeist is
Mhm.
good. All of the originals. The second one was what scared me the most, though, with the weird preacher guy.
I think
Oh, yeah.
Stir of Echoes, I think, still gets me when I watch it. Just
That's
that
all good.
one scene.
Kevin Bacon.
Oh my gosh, when she pops her fingernails off. Oh my god.
The
But,
Ring movies
it
were
still
pretty
gets
good
me.
haunting movies too. I would consider those haunting movies.
I mean,
Kinda.
I like The Ring, but I don't think it's one of my tops.
Not
really.
tops, but I'm just trying to think of good
Yeah.
haunting movies.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Haunting of Helena was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
There are some. I guess Mama would be considered a haunting
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
too. There have been some good ones
Yeah.
recently, but yeah, as far as favorites,
I would probably say The Shining, now that I think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have mixed feelings about The Shining because
I don't
of,
like the original
I
Shining.
had very
Straight
mixed
up,
feelings
don't
about
like
the
it.
original.
Yeah.
The sudden, the remake that Mick Garris did being much more faithful to the source material.
yeah.
Wings.
Totally. Guy all day.
Well,
I don't know,
I would call it Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what actually most people classify it as.
Yeah.
And the Steadicam was so good in that it was actually revolutionary in a filmmaking standpoint.
Yeah.
And some of the liberties that he took with the blood from the elevator, which was not in the book and stuff like
Yeah.
that. The ending has totally changed, which is why King hated it so much. Once again, I'm trying to turn it into
Yeah, you really are.
All I can say is, about The Shining, the only thing I can say is I appreciated
It's the
the
40th
movie.
anniversary.
I appreciated the movie more less after I read the book. After I read the book, the movie it just didn't hold the same caliber to it. But if you just think about the movie itself, it is a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
Always.
All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to call the Bernie Wrightson Memorial Podcast. Now that
Sorry.
we're talking
Slash
not at all
TV.
about him. No,
No,
but
we did
quite
look
honestly,
great.
we did. We did a long time talking
Yeah.
about him, and he deserves to have an entire podcast about him because he was amazing.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate that we lost such a talent and a legend in not only the horror and comic book community, but in the film community. And I'm sure his personal family and friends would say he was a massive loss outside of those communities
Yeah.
as well. So,
Amen.
proper respect to Mr. Wrightson. Thank you for everything that you gave us, sir. Especially us horror fans. We have stuff to look at forever now because of you, and
Yes.
we thank you for it. So, thank you guys very much for joining us as we talked about this, and we got a little off topic at times, but we thought this was a perfect podcast, especially after Dirk suggested it to me. So, thank you, Dirk, for bringing
Yeah.
this to the table. We greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to talk about one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you guys again for joining us. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Dirk Heron.
And Dirk, where can we find some art from you, man?
Yeah, actually,
DirkArt.com.
DERK.
Yeah,
art.com.
DERK. Yeah.
Mhm.
Art.com. Yes. I do a lot more of portraits and stuff like that, but I do love me some horror
Mhm.
comics and stuff like that, and I'd love to do more of that, but I usually do things that make money.
Mhm.
So what can I say?
You even do pet portraits too, which
Yeah.
you're extraordinarily talented at. I gotta be
That's
honest.
what I do mainly nowadays.
Yeah,
is a lot
I'm
of
gonna
pet
have to commission
portraits.
you to do one of mine at some point. So yeah,
This man's
So-
talent, dude, became so just obvious when he helped us storyboard a little bit of Sweet, right? And we were just like, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that was just as he was starting his most recent art round of classes and stuff.
Right. Oh, well, I was just about to start.
Yeah.
But I really, I was like, oh man,
And
I'd
you've
love
come
to
a
do some
long way, too.
storyboarding.
Yeah, man, it's really awesome. We should maybe figure out a way to put those up because I still have them
Okay.
somewhere, so we could put them up on our blog or something.
Yeah.
On the blog, on Facebook.
Well, they were quick sketches, but
Quick
Quick sketches. Yeah, he's getting all modest. And who are you over there in the long hair?
I'm
Yeah.
the interrupter known as Jaime and Fuego. You can find me at Jaime and Fuego on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. What up?
And I am and always will be Marcia Parker.
Thanks again, and until next time, you guys remember,
Stay
scared.
And
And let's go stop it. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us.
Later,
Sorry if
love
we
you
didn't get to your
guys.
question.
Blah, blah, blah.
Bye.
But should we do more of these?